Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vande Guru Paramparam. So here we are. Happy Shankar Jayanti to all of you. We are looking at Brahma Satyam, and I told them that I'll be taking the beginning of the Kenopanishad with this regards. And here in this Upanishad, the student has already worked out the hollowness of the world, that there is nothing to be gained, having worked out everything that needs to. He has experimented with life, he has lived his life, he, she, he has lived his life and come to this conclusion that the world does not hold the answers which he is seeking. And therefore, such a student then comes in search. You see, whenever there is a student, the teacher appears. We all know that. So this student appears, he's going from place to place, he hears about one master, he goes to him and he asks, Om kene shitam patati preshitam manaha kena prana pradhama praiti yuktaha kene shitam vacham imam vadanti chakshu shrotram ka udevo yunakti. So he is asking out of his own analysis of life, out of his own analysis of his experiences, not read from some book, not heard from somewhere. This is what majority of us do, but from his own experience of life, and is sincerely intrigued by this question: what is that which inspires the mind? What is that which inspires the pran? What is that which inspires the speech? Or what are those? What is that God? What is that X factor? What is that power which inspires, motivates? All these what were mentioned, and here only few are mentioned. In other words, all the senses, the mind and the intellect, what motivates and inspires them, what makes them function, because of what do they function? He is at his wit's end because he is not able to work out. He has gone from, he understands this much, that all the world is seen because of the senses. The senses are known by the mind. The mind is owned by the intellect, or is a concept of the intellect. But what after that? And thus the question. Here, without going into the bhashya, we'll come to the bhashya of third verse. But here, the student, in short, he is asking his issue in life as a seeker is that he is objectifying. He is not able to give up the objectivity. And this incapacity to give up the objectivity is, he's seeking, no doubt, but incapable to turn his mind to the source or to accept that what is that X factor, what is that reality. Here in this first verse, even the answer is not asked, he is just asking. He doesn't know what is the answer. Just like in Kathopanishad, the Nachiketa asked, anyatra dharmat, anyatra adharmat, anyatra asmat krita kritat, and so on. What is that which is beyond dharma, dharma? What is that which is beyond doing and not doing? What is that which is beyond past and future? And he asks there one thing, and see that please tell me what you see at this moment. Don't tell me from the books. So here the student is also inquiring into that source through which, because of which, inspired by which these senses and mind, all the faculties are inspired. Then to that, in the second verse it comes, Shrotrasya Shrotram Manaso Mano Yad Vachoha Vacham Sahu Pranasya Pranaha Chakshush Chakshurati Muchya Dhiraha Pretyasmat Lokad Amruta Bhavanti. The student, the teacher, he also answers. What is that? Shrotrasya Shrotram Manaso Manoyat. So that what you are seeking, my dear child, is the ear of the ear, the mind of the mind, the speech of the speech, and the eye of the eye, and so on. And there it says the wise people, they become free from this world and become immortal by contemplating on that one reality or being that reality. See, so in this verse we see who is able to answer. Someone will say, okay, go and do japa. No, you have to first do this, you have to first do that, first you have to slog hard in life. But here the teacher, seeing the intense curiosity and sincerity to know the truth, to know the source, answers him. See, there was one master, he went to Varanasi. In our life also, many teachers have come. Probably in your life also. But why did we go to that teacher? We were seeking. Some Buddhists came, some Tao masters came, some Zen masters came, then some devotional teachers came, and eventually all that process, question, everything led to the next. We were not satisfied with what, okay, the person has told, but what we were searching objectively. That time there was no one to tell. Maybe they told, we didn't understand. But eventually we landed up with Vedanta. After all those 13, 14 years of searching and practicing. Similarly, this student also has come, and the teacher, he has asked a very sincere question, but the teacher is not giving him a straight answer. It's a simple question. What is that which inspires the senses and mind? The teacher says, is the ear of the ear, the speech of the speech, the mind of the mind. And the wise people, giving up the sansar, come to be immortal. So, what does this mean? Why such a roundabout answer? Why such an inconclusive answer? Why can't you tell straight away what it is and what it is not. And this is where then the third verse will address all this. But here it is very important. Who are these wise people? These wise people are dhiraha. Who are these dhira purusha? Dhira purusha is he who is, when we say wise people, he who is established in the self. This is one aspect, but the other is he is able to, for us, he is able to communicate in such a way that the student is able to work it out, is able to, how should I say, is able to be clear as to what that principle is. See, there are many masters or pandits in Varanasi, in Ayodhya, in Vrindavan, many places. So many ashrams are there, lived there for quite a long time. But they are, once I asked someone there in one ashram, he says, don't ask me. I said, why, sir? He says, I can teach you, but if you want to know, you have to go to Himalayas. Went to Himalayas. There also, there are many masters, but they are established, but they are unable to communicate. You have to be in their presence and sit there. But no communication, and if there is any communication, it's hardly decipherable. So we come across, here the point that is given is that, oh dear student, if you want to follow that path, to know what is that source, you have to be like the Dhira Purusha, because, and not because, as you have already worked out the world, now you have to get established in it by yourself, in yourself, for yourself. And for that, then he says, without the student having asked the question, न तत्र चक्षुर गच्छति न वाक् गच्छति न मनः न विद्मः न विजानीमः यथैतद् अनुशिष्याद् अन्यदेव तद् विदिताद् अथः अविदिताद् अधि इति शुश्रुम पूर्वेषां ये नस्तद्व्यचक्षिरे. So then he says, the teacher is telling him that it is that where the faculties cannot reach, or they cannot know that reality. And the mind cannot comprehend it, the senses cannot reveal it, cannot illuminate it. And I don't know how to teach this. However, our teacher told us something, and we will communicate that. And while we are teaching, you take care, and that this what you are asking, it is other than the known and the unknown. So all responsibility has been put on the shoulders of the student. The teacher is taking no responsibility of teaching. We all shirk responsibility. But here, how can I come to know someone else's mind? It is impossible. Nothing is impossible, but at our level, we can't. So here the student is being asked that you take care of your mind, you take care of yourself, you prepare yourself. I will teach you, but you have to catch. I will explain, but you have to understand. I will talk about it with words which are incapable of illuminating it, but you have to apprehend it. You have to comprehend it. This art is only available in our Upanishads, nowhere else. So here, our the Bhashya says, "Na tatra tasmin brahmani chakshu gacchati swatmani gamana sambhavat." He says that eyes cannot go to the eyes, they cannot see everything, but not the eyes. So also it is true about the other senses and other faculties. And so also not only the five senses but also the speech, because that also is mentioned here. And by the word something is indicated, but what is indicated is not the word. If I say computer, computer is in my mouth, but the object called computer is away from my mouth. And therefore, the word can, so here he says, where are we? तथा न वाक् गच्छति वाचा हि शब्द उच्चार्यमाणो भिधेयं प्रकाशयति यदा तदा अभिधेयं प्रति वाक् गच्छति इति उच्यते. And therefore, तस्य च शब्दस्य तन्निवर्तकस्य च कर्णस्य आत्मा ब्रह्म अतः न वाक् गच्छति यथा अग्निर्दाहकः प्रकाशकश्चापि सन् न हि आत्मानं प्रकाशयति दहति वा तद्वत्. And therefore, that by this word, like our Taittiriya Upanishad says, yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha, that principle, that truth, that reality is that where the words don't reach, the mind cannot comprehend, and and thus the we are in the third now, and thus he is what you call, and thus he is making that same point. Then he continues here. If I take the whole bhashya, it will not cover. So, na manaha manashchanyasya sankalpayitru adhyavasayitru cha sat na atmanam sankalpayatyadhyavasyati cha tasyapi brahmatmeti. So he says here that nobody, when he said in the previous thing, swatmani gamana sambhavat. So nobody can reach the truth. The world cannot take you to the truth, the senses cannot take you to the truth, the speech cannot take you to the truth, your mind cannot take you to the truth, the intellect cannot take you to the truth. Then when I am already me, how can anything else take me to me? The self, that principle which we are talking about, it's self-existing. So, and the student, again, the student is asking objectively. The teacher is trying to shift his attention to the conscious principle that he is, the Atma that he is, and therefore, similarly, no manaha, and similarly the mind, that mind also cannot reach the reality. Mind can think, imagine, intellectualize, determine, but only one thing it cannot do. And what is that? It cannot know itself. Simple exercise you can do for this. If you take these, our physical eyes, they are illuminating the whole world. But when you shift the vision with the physical eyes, you try to see the eyeball itself. If you have never tried it, try it and see what happens. What happens is, slowly, if you maintain the poise and coolly shift the attention of the eyes to the eyeballs, slowly, over a few seconds, little bit of time, the entire form starts melting into one and it becomes unavailable to you. Because all the forms are not distracting the vision anymore, can the vision illuminate the source of the vision, the eyes? Is it possible? Again, we have a question mark. What next? Similarly, the mind can think about everything in this world. That's what is told here. Na manaha. And this that it can think, sankalpayitru, etc. It can think, it can determine, it can imagine, but it cannot come to think about the self. It can think about the self in thoughts, but it cannot come to know itself. Just like eyes cannot come to see themselves, similarly, the mind cannot come to know itself. Indriya manobhyam hi vastunaha vijnanam. Everything in this creation, in this world, why only creation, is only known to us through the mind, and therefore through the mind and the senses. And through the senses, we cannot come to know the mind. Through that truth, that source, just as the mind cannot be reached by the senses, what is the source of the mind? The mind cannot reach it. Therefore, neither that principle that you have asked, what is the inspiring force or that inspiring principle behind all the senses and the mind, neither it can be illuminated by the senses and the speech, nor it can be illuminated, thought of by the mind. In other words, it cannot be perceived by the senses and it cannot be thought of by the mind. And in this way, ataha na vijanimaha yatha yena prakarena etat brahma anushishyat upadishe shishyayetya bhiprayah. And in this way, what is the, therefore, ataha, therefore, then how the student should be instructed? How will he come to know about how the student has to be instructed, how he has to be guided, what he has to be told, what he doesn't need to be told? He says that we don't know, anushit na vijanimaha. We don't know how to instruct. We don't know how to teach. We don't know how to guide. See, this is a big thing. Until you go to any ashram nowadays, they give you a mala and say, "Acha bhai, start doing the japa. How many you have to do? 2 lakhs. Okay, that fellow will not come back. or someone do go do seva of the world. No, go and do the seva in the ashram. Go and help in the kitchen. All that is okay. But from the teacher's point of view or the wise person's point of view, he knows whether this fellow is qualified or not qualified. Okay. So here to this sincere student, just like in Kathopanishad, the teacher told, he said, I don't know, man. I don't know what you are asking. Why don't you ask something which is possible for me to give you? Ask me the lordship of the world. Ask me all the wealth. I'll give it to you. But what you are asking, anyatra dharmat, anyatra dharmat, I don't know what it is. But the student is also pakka. He says, no, I know you know. See? So here the student also must have done a lot of market research, to which must have asked this question many places. And now he has come to the right person. He doesn't know that. He is asking the question. But nobody has answered him in this manner. That I don't know how to teach. But I'll teach you, I'll tell you what my teachers taught me. My acharyas taught me. And you see if you can understand. You see if it clicks with you. You see if you are available to that truth. While I am speaking, while I am telling, while I am instructing. This is the art. Yadhi karanagoocharam tadanyasmai upadeshtum shakyam jati gunakriya visheshanaihi na tad jatyadi visheshanavat brahma tasmad vishamam shishyanupadeshena pratyaya yitumiti upadeshe tadartha grahane cha yatnatishaya kartavyatam darshayati. He says that he says that I don't that we cannot when something can be known through the mind and senses, that can be explained to someone. And you are asking about something which cannot be perceived, nor can be thought of, not can be intellectualized. So we don't know how to na vijanimaha. We don't know how to teach it, and therefore this and what can be taught here, he says, what can be taught, yadhi karana gocharam, that anything that has jati guna jatyadi visheshana, that anything that has jati guna kriya etc., differences, different kinds of adjectives which can be added, can be talked about, can be communicated. But the answer to your question, that cannot be communicated. So you tell us, how can we teach you? Na tat jatyadi visheshana, we already said that. So he says, this reality, this Brahman, this inspirer that you are asking, it is free of all jati, guna, karma, etc. It is free of all differences. And it is, and therefore it is very difficult to explain as well as very difficult to understand. Very difficult to explain to the disciple. Therefore, the student has to put forth the efforts to understand and what you call uh, uh, and the student should not try to see, hear, touch, feel, taste, think, intellectualize that a reality. See? This reality, this what you're asking, cannot be known through the valid means of through the valid means, and they being valid means of knowledge, they being the senses, mind, and intellect. Now, when a student comes, if imagine you have to take yourself in this position. If we are in this position and the teacher is telling us that you cannot use your senses, you cannot use your mind, you cannot use your intellect, you cannot talk, you cannot think about that, what are you going to do then? Suddenly everything comes to a stop. You're nonplussed. The mind is nonplussed. Acha, I'm not allowed to think. Mind is only thinking. With that, mind only brought you here. The search for the truth only brought you here to the teacher. And the teacher is telling you no valid means of knowledge, neither the senses, nor the mind, nor the intellect can function. Now, what are we going to do? If an unprepared student comes, the student will say, this teacher does not know what he's talking about. I think I should go to another ashram and find another teacher. See? Is that one of us who is searching, and for that search now, we have how many? 1 month of lectures, including this one? Or is it we are approaching this 1 month as an expression of that divine self meeting the self? See? Then he says, na vidma na vijanimaha. Yeah, we have done that. Agamena tu shakyata eva pratyayitumiti tad upadeshartham agamam aha. He says, but the same reality which I just talked to you about, na vidma, na vijanimaha, that I talked to you about, which I cannot speak, the senses cannot perceive it, mind cannot know it, but it can be known through scriptures. Scriptures can throw light upon it. And the scriptures, meaning here scriptures mean only one thing, that is the Upanishads. They can explain it. I cannot. But the scriptures can. Anyadeva tat viditad aviditad adhi iti. The reality, the Brahman, is other than ear of the ear, eye of the eye. This is and what does it mean? It is other than all the senses. It cannot be the object of knowledge of eyes, ears, etc. And we know ourselves without, we come to know ourselves without the interference of the means of knowledge. I know, I am, I think, therefore I am. Yes, this is the correct one. Descartes said, I think, therefore I am, or I am, therefore thinking is happening? Where do we fit? What is your direct experience? Does thinking establish my being, or because I am, therefore the mind is thinking? This is the point that is made here, that uh, that we know ourselves without the corruption of the means of knowledge. अन्यदेव पृथगेव तद यत् प्रकृतं श्रोत्रादीनां श्रोत्रादीयुक्तम् अविषयश्च तेषां तद विदिताद अन्यदेव हि. So we have already talked about it. Viditam nama tad vidhi kriyaya shayenaptam vidhi kriya karma bhutam kvachit kinchit kasyachid viditam syaditi. So here he says, what does viditam mean? When we say known and that we cannot talk about it, this truth is, so viditam is told here as means means that which is, or means of knowledge, that which is pervaded by knowing. Means of knowledge, that which is pervaded by knowing. And so whatever is cognized through this process of knowing, that is anything known by anyone, anywhere, anytime, this is vidita. So we are talking here about the known world, vidita and avidita. So vidita word is being taken. We are talking about the known world, the perceived world, the thought world, the conceptualized world, the specific world. Continuing, where are we? Sarvameva vyakrutam viditameva tasmad anyadevet iti artaha. See, so now as a conclusion of that thought of viditam, he says all that is manifest is called viditam. All that is manifest. What does that signify? All that is manifest is having name and form. Whether it is in the outside world, the gross, or it is the subtle, or it is the unknown, also is called unknown. That will come later. So in this way, everything is known, and this Brahman, this what you are asking the inspirer, he is other than the known, first point. So everything is other than that which can be perceived, thought, or conceptualized. Everything that is manifest. So what is manifest? This world was there before I came, So I don't know, I came into this world, but this world was there before, that's why I came in this world. Is this how we are going to think? Is this how we are going to think? Or are we, for a small child that is okay. But now we have come to a Upanishad. Those basic, what you call, education that you got, that is not valid here. You have to go beyond. Just like we are in the day we wake up, in the night we go to sleep. Initially, this much is okay for the child. But as this child grows up, becomes a teenager, goes to some satsang, hears, if he is inquiring, or he hears, na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam, and so forth. Yeah, acha, oh, but this day and night is because of whom? Because of the sun. Who is the sun due to? No, sun is there. Sun is there. Is the day because of the sun? Is the night because of sun? Or is the sun independent? It is existing in its own self. From its point of view, there is no day and there is no night. I never thought about it like this. To tell a small child this thought process when that child is very young, it will not mean anything to that child. But as that child grows up, he may think about it, he may be curious about it, he will contemplate over it. Yeah, this is true. But who is illuminating the sun? If you say this world is not, is this world, this manifest, this reality is other than the manifest, then where do we go from there? Who is illuminating the sun? The eye is illuminating the sun. Who is illuminating the eye, meaning the senses? The mind is illuminating. Who is illuminating the mind? The intellect is illuminating. What is the intellect? Who is illuminating the intellect? The Chidabhas. Chidabhas is due to the Chaitanya. Or Bapre, that you are. This is what is in Kenopanishad it comes. But we are lost in the manifest world. And scriptures also sometimes we are lost in objectively. If every time the words of the Upanishads fall on our ears and we are not subjectively oriented towards it, then we have lost that moment. Aviditam अज्ञातम tarhiti prapte ah. So, because it is not known through any normal means of knowledge, because that reality is other than the known, don't misunderstand and consider it to be unknown. It is not shunya. It is not unknown. अथ अपि कहाँ पे है? हाँ, अथ अपि अविदिताद विदित विपरीताद अव्याकृताद अव्याकृत अविद्या लक्षणाद व्याकृत बीजात. So not only it is other than the known, but it is also other than the unknown. I just gave you the example of in the daylight everything is known, in the night everything is unknown. The sun is beyond the known and the unknown. Apply it on yourself. We have to be subjective. The Atma, the reality, the consciousness It's other than the known. What is the known? The waking world and the dream world. What is unknown? The deep sleep world. Who are you other than these three, known and the unknown? Vidita, avidita. But who are you considering yourself? Only as the waker. Arre baapre. Phas gaye. We are caught up. Living only 1/3 of our life. If we take Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, we are living only Jagrat. Either you apply the rules of engagement in Jagrat, in the Swapna also, in the dream also, or you apply the rules of engagement of the dream in the waking also. पर हम ऐसे नहीं करते. We don't do like this. We are very choosy, living very limitedly, unless and until our attention does not transcend these three, manifest and unmanifest, waking and dream and deep sleep, known and unknown. It is beyond, it is transcendental to it. So in this way, avidita. Where are we? Adhi इति उपर्यर्थे लक्षणया अन्यद इति अर्थः. यद्धि यस्माद् अधि उपरि भवति तत्तस्माद् अन्यद इति प्रसिद्धम्. Adhi means other than. And what is other than? It means it is other than karya karana. It is other than the cause and effect. It is other than space time. It is other than manifest unmanifest. It is other than anyatra dharmat anyatra dharmat. It is other than past and future. Other than. It is other than the waking and dream and the deep sleep. We are talking about you. We are talking about that principle which is inspiring the senses, the mind, the speech, the pranas. This is not knowledge that we are collecting. While listening, we be that. It is, the Upanishad is not talking about some concept. Upanishad is talking about you. So who are you? You are other than, or that, if you don't want to take it that way, that principle which you are seeking, that reality which you are seeking is other than all these opposites. All these manifest and unmanifest, known and unknown. And therefore, the conclusion comes that the reality can only be known one way. If there is no means of knowledge available, then how is it to be known? There is only one way. How is it? Atmatvena, only by the self. Yad viditam tadalpam martyam dukkhatmakam cheti heyam. And in this way, anything, whatever is known, whatever is viditam, whatever is known, it is alpam, it has a short life, it is martyam, it has its expiry date inherent within it. Dukkhatmakam, it brings misery because It is never continuous, it is never permanent, therefore it is heyam. Therefore it is worthy of discard, it is worthy of tyage naike amrita. Give up. It's worthy of giving up. What is worthy of giving up? Viditam. Everything that we talked about before. See, what does heyam is that which is rejected. What is aheyam? Aheyam is that which cannot be rejected. See? Can you reject yourself? Can you reject who you are? So in these two lines, what is the world? World is that which cannot be caught. And what is that truth that which cannot be rejected? In these two lines is the entire Vedanta. You are that which cannot be rejected. You cannot reject yourself. And the world, including this body, including this mind, including these thoughts, including this breath, including this waking dream and deep sleep, you cannot catch it. Every time you think you have caught it, it slips out of your fingers. Story over, Upanishad is over. Merely one word, aheyam. Unless we approach the Upanishad in the manner that this student is approaching, if we are only coming to this Upanishad, to this Brahma Satyam, I want to know what this Upanishad says. I want to know what that Upanishad says. I want to know what this teacher says. I want to know how that teacher explained this. And it goes only in the external pursuit, comparing. Opportunity lost. So be very alert, be very vigilant. Aheyam, that which cannot be rejected. Now seek within yourself or in this world, what is that which cannot be rejected? What is that which cannot be rejected? Look at the outside world, what cannot be rejected? Have you ever thought? It's not part of the Upanishad or the Bhashya. What is that which cannot be rejected in this waking world? Space. Space is continuous. But when we have come to that conclusion, then where does that space go when we close our eyes? This is another meditation, another contemplation. We come into the mental space. Then where has this physical space, the outside space, the waking space, where has it come from? The bhutakash, where has it come from? It is told it is a concept of your mind only. Because you have a word called akash, therefore that akash has come out there. Name and form go together. They cannot go independently. Then where has the chittakash come from? Is there a source of it? Yes, there is chidakash. Again you go back to the same atmatvena. So if we take the akash also, we come to that akash which cannot be rejected. The bhutakash can be rejected, the chittakash can be rejected, but the chidakash cannot be rejected. Our attempt, our availability has to be continuously towards that constant principle, that we are. But misfortune is we want to search it in the words, through the words. No, words, let them come from the teacher. The words, let them come from the scriptures. I want to study the Upanishad. I don't want someone else's bhashya on it. Not Shankaracharya's, not this teacher's, not that teacher's, not this sampradaya or that sampradaya. I want my own understanding of the, of the Upanishadic verses. Acha, you start. Om Keneshitam. Oh, darling, can you bring me a cup of tea, please? Ho gaya. The husband came out. Can husband ever understand Om Keneshitam? Can he understand this truth? So it is while listening to the teacher, which teacher? It will probably tell, that we come to recognize that that unrejectable principle is me only. It's a knack. And it's not that we have to give up everything. No, while living in this world, while functioning through the body, breath, senses, mind, intellect, we transcend it. Aheyam. Where are we? Tasmad viditad anyad brahma ityukte tvaheyatvam uktam syat. And that which you have asked cannot be rejected. Tatha aviditad adhi ityukte anupade yatvam ukta syat. And therefore, which cannot be rejected also cannot be gained. If I do this, one hair comes, rejected. I can't take that hair, string of hair and put it back. Can't be gained again. Every birthday is celebrated, but it has gone away. You cannot gain the year back. You cannot gain yesterday's waker back. You cannot gain the dream experience back. You cannot gain your hunger back. It will be a new, every time the hunger comes, it's a new one. Every time the perception comes, it's a new one. It's not the old perception. But mind thinks in this way, it is the same. That's where we are wrong. That's where we are going wrong. Every moment we have to extreme alertness and vigilance has to be practiced, as this student is practicing. Ho gaya time?
Yeah, we are reaching the end, Swami. Could you please conclude?
Okay. So in this way, the Brahma, the Atma, the Paramatma can be gained. Firstly, it is declared that it is beyond the Vidita and Avidita, and it can be known through the words of the scriptures and through the words of the teacher alone. Otherwise, without Guru Anugraha, without the grace of the teacher, this reality remains far, far, far away. And in this way, in this reality, human element, the gender, the religion, and all these barriers are not accepted except the words of the scriptures and the teacher. Hari Om, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you, Swamiji, for that beautiful unfolding of the truth, Brahma Satyam. The next talk in the series will be held at 7 p.m. in the evening. And the topic is Practicing Detachment at Work by Swami Swapanandaji. Thank you, everyone.
Hari Om, everyone. Bye.